Before we get started, I'd actually like just to take a quick minute and to thank Chris and his team for doing an awesome job of putting together this event so far. I've been speaking at a lot, been fortunate to speak at a number of events, and for doing a inaugural event, you guys have really nailed it. So congrats to you guys, and please join me in thanking them. So as we jump into Urban Outfitters, just to follow up on one of Chris's comments, we do have Urban Outfitters started as Urban Outfitters. We do have a number of other brands. We've got Anthropologie and Free People, which are the two that most people know about us in a few smaller formats. I'm going to be talking about the Urban Outfitters brand. But before I just jump into that, this morning Chris talked about a number of things that I could personally relate to. One was turning 40, which I just recently turned 40 this month, and then also being able to dunk a basketball. I used to be able to dunk. I was fortunate to be granted with a little bit more height than Chris, which helped out, probably not more athletic ability, but you inspired me to get back to dunking a basketball. I will send you the video of it when I do. I will likely have a lot of B-roll that looks much more like your attempt at dunking. And also, since Canadian healthcare is so much better, I'm going to be sending you any healthcare bills for any injuries that I get along the way. So thank you for that, Chris. But as we jump into Urban Outfitters, we've been really fortunate to have a really loyal and devoted following over the years, and it stems a lot from how we've approached building the brand and how we approach marketing, and for much of our history, how we approached the lack of marketing. And I think it's interesting as we've, watching the movie last night, talking to Chris and team about cult brands and what makes a cult brand, a lot of this really resonated, and I think it was intentional but not intentional in the longevity of our brand of how we got here. And I think that's part of what this authenticity of what makes us who we are and what makes us a cult brand for our followers. So just to tell a little bit of the background of Urban Outfitters, and I think this tells a lot of the story of why we are who we are, and some of the things that I think are important along the way. The first, one of the things that's important for us is vision, and having a vision for what we are. And this is Dick Hayne, our founder. This was a random newspaper clipping that we actually had laying around the office, which is why it looks so bad. But it's a picture of him in our first store on the University of Pennsylvania campus. And how Urban Outfitters got started was, Dick talking to his friends and, living in the community around University of Pennsylvania and saying, there's nowhere for the college girl to go and buy and experience this lifestyle, have this whole complete lifestyle brand. There's a lot of places where you can go and you can buy apparel, you can buy some home stuff, but a lot of it just wasn't really that good, and the experience of it wasn't really, didn't really resonate with who she was, and the apparel wasn't what you wanted to make yourself feel good. You didn't have anything that was inspiring you in your home. So he saw this opportunity to pull all of this together, and did it on a credit card. And I think $2,500 in credit card debt to get this started, and started with making this an experiential, shopping experience, where it wasn't about just the product. And that's something that we've talked about. It's not just about the product and marketing products and trying to sell products. It's about providing an experience. And to the point of marketing and advertising, it wasn't really marketed. It wasn't really advertised. It was word of mouth was how he developed a following early on. And also it was an attempt and a way of just bucking the system of all these existing formats that just didn't really work. So he created something that was very different. And one anecdote of how different it was there was a swap bin at the front of the store, and you just bring an article of clothing in, drop it in there, and take out whatever else you wanted. And that was part of the store and part of the experience there. And it was something that set us apart, and that just kind of set the tone for how we operate as a brand and how we operate differently. We don't do that today. It's a little bit more difficult in 190 stores, and you don't want just people leaving stuff in your store and not knowing what's in the bottom of the bin. So a little bit different today, but I think it is something that we think about, and think about how this is different and how we are different from our competition. Another part of vision, and there's a part of vision that's what is it that you provide to your customer, but also what is it you do, and how do you build a company? Urban Outfitters was started very slowly over a number of years. It started in 1970, and for the first 25 years, we had 8 stores. So it started very slow. And that was because there was this dedication to the vision of providing this unique shopping experience to the college girl, well, and then her boyfriend, because she was hanging out with him, so you need to provide an experience for him as well. And so it grew slowly, grew authentically. It wasn't something that was this master business plan of we're going to expand this in the first 5 years. So it was very slow and methodical. But we got to a point where we needed to expand the company. And about 7 years ago, the offices in downtown Philadelphia weren't going to meet the needs of the workforce that we needed. So instead of just going and doing the traditional thing and going and getting office space in another building downtown Philadelphia, Dick moved the headquarters down to the Navy Yard. And this is what it looks like today. It's a fantastic place to work. I encourage anyone who has the opportunity is in Philadelphia, come down and visit. But at the time he moved in, it was a bunch of dilapidated old buildings, didn't have doors, didn't have windows. There were rats running around in the buildings, and had the vision that this could be a spectacular place to have an office and to inspire a workforce, which dovetails into second point of what makes us a cult brand. Why do we have this devoted following? It is about the environment. And for us, that starts with the environment in the stores. And this has been, again, part of the approach of the company from 1970 is that you have this, you're in your 20s, you're in college, you've got this sense of discovery, you're trying to figure out who you are and what do you like. So provide this sense of discovery, provide an environment that has this sense of discovery in it. And this is our Rialto store, which we recently opened in downtown LA. And another aspect of this is providing something that is an environment that is authentic and is related to the community that you're in. And that helps to contribute to the community and celebrate the community rather than just harvesting the energy or harvesting the ethos of that community. So what you see here was a dilapidated old theater, revitalize the theater, and what we generally do is we tear it down to its core structure and celebrate that. Don't hide it. Don't put all of our Urban Outfitters cladding all over it. And the other thing about our environment, it is relevant, it is local to each community. We don't have a similar, if you go to any Urban Outfitters, they're not the same. They're very, very different formats. Makes it a big challenge to operate that on a global level. But it's something that sets us apart, and it is counter to almost any one of our competitors. They have a standard format, there's a floor set, and you go into any one and you have the same exact experience. You go into any one of our stores and you see that, yes, you understand it's an Urban Outfitters, but there's a lot of differences in there. The format, the layout of the store, what's pulled up front. There's a lot of autonomy that we give within each one of our stores for how they actually operate it and how they build it out, which makes it really interesting and really exciting and brings this environment to the forefront. And you go into your store in University of Pennsylvania and you feel like it's relevant to UPenn. You go to Michigan, you feel like it's relevant to Michigan, and it's not just this cookie cutter experience. In addition to the environment of the stores that we have, the other aspect of environment that we think is really important goes back to where we work. And this goes back to the Navy Yard that I was talking about. This is a picture of the lobby of the Urban Outfitters building. And a really interesting thing about the way that we've laid out the Navy Yard is each one of the brands has a different building. So the Anthropology building, for those of you who are familiar with Anthropology, feels very much like Anthropology. The Urban Outfitters building feels very much like Urban Outfitters, and they each have a very different culture to them. The interesting thing for me on this is the picture of our lobby. A lot of times we talk about the environment you work in and different offices. You talk about Apple and their offices, Nike, and you kind of get it. But this was the first time I saw it in, personally in real life of how this can change the way that you work. And before our brand CEO came back into the business, this was just an empty lobby, and there's a little bit of stuff going on in there, but was just kind of a open space. Came in, just got a bunch of used furniture, put it in there. They had our store team build it out, added a speaker wall, so there's always music playing in there. And all of a sudden, it became this hub of activity, and it really changed the way that people collaborate and interact in the office, which was awesome to see. And it was really powerful that the environment you work in, the environment, we all know the environment we shop in, the environments we provide to our customers can all have that impact. But it was really great to see this in person and how much of a dramatic impact that can really make. And this is another picture of our headquarters, and this is our main cafe building. But again, just providing these places where people can come to work and be inspired to deliver this experience for your customers is really, really powerful. So it's it's a great place for us to be able to work, and also just a reminder for me of the environments that I create for my teams. The environments we all create for our organizations are really, really important and can have a dramatic impact. The third thing after vision and after environment that's really important for us is our people. And with our people, we hire our customer, and our customers are loyal fans, and they want to be a part of Urban Outfitters, which is fantastic. So they make our best customers. The folks who work in our stores are just unbelievably creative, devoted, energetic. They do amazing things every day, and they're on the front lines working with customers when there's an issue, when there's a return, when there's anything going on. They're there dealing with it, and they do a fantastic job because they're so excited about the brand. They're so in love with it. And not only do we hire them in our stores, but then we love to bring them from the stores into our home office. When we bring them into a home office, it really keeps us connected to the stores and what's going on and who our customer is, rather than being disengaged and having this, you've got home office and they're dictating everything out to the field. By having them that involvement and bringing people in, it's another thing that's really powerful to keep us connected to our customers, keep us connected and relevant to what's going on in the 18 to 25-year-olds world. As we all age and we all get older, as in the management team, staying connected and making sure we have people who are keeping us grounded and keeping us connected, and not just us thinking we've got all these great ideas in an office building and we can push them out to the stores. That's not going to happen. We've got a lot of great ideas, but more often than not, we've got a lot of really bad ideas when you're my age and you're trying to serve this really engaged college customer. So we rely on them to come in and bring all these great ideas and bring this great energy. And the ideas can come from anywhere. I think that's really an important thing for us. A lot of the best ideas that we've had come from our junior buyers, come from our store employees, come from the folks on our social media team, and those bubble up to be some of the really great parts of our brand. So it is really important for us to hire people and make sure we hire people who are not just connected, but also are bringing that level of ideas. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that I think are important for our culture and what they bring. Our store employees as well, again, the energy that they bring to the brand and the way they bring it to life in the stores is fantastic. And I think another one of the counterculture things for us is you go to a lot of retailers and there's this whole, okay, you got to look a certain way. You've got no visible tattoos. I think it's actually a kind of a ding against you if you don't have visible tattoos at Urban Outfitters, or that you get. I'm not sure if there's actually a bonus for the more visible tattoos you have, but it's a really interesting environment when you're walking around in the office and everyone has neck tattoos all over the place. And but it's just, again, goes to this individuality. And being able to express yourself is really, really important to us, and we want to celebrate that and really bring that out. So, good, thanks. So talking about culture, and this is another thing that's important we get at people. Well, the culture that we create and the culture that they create within the brand is really, really important for us. So part of the culture is being entrepreneurial. It's being creative. And it's celebrating that. In each one of our stores, we have a display workshop. I don't know of any other retailer that does that. It's a full wood shop. We've got some kids that come in at, I think, 6 in the morning, and they're there working on all of these display elements that you see in the store. And they're doing it, we get a general plan from the home office, and usually that's the people that are doing that are former store display artists who now bring their talents into home office. You get a general plan for that, and then they bring it to life in their stores. And each one of them does this in a very different way. It's fantastic to see when it comes to life, and you see the amount of the attention to detail and the energy that they put into it. And it's not just stamping out this format of you've got a store, you've got a store, you've got a store, and you've got people who kind of work there. They take ownership and they take pride in it. And it's a really, really big thing for them, and they are intensely proud of it. And they, when you go out to a store, they're excited to show you what they've done. And that's one of the things that makes it feels different than another retailer when you go into it. You go into one of our stores, and the environment feels different. The music's louder. We do store visits with the executive team, and once the music comes on after the store opens up, you can't really talk in a circle because it's that loud. So now I'm also being 40, I'm at the age where I'm like, can you guys turn the music down? It's a little, yeah, I can't hear anyone talk. But it's, the way, and each one of these stores, they want to talk to you about the music that we're providing, and they have all their ideas, and we interact with them and get their input on this so that it's not just, again, something that's pushed out, and it's a brand that's kind of created and carefully controlled. So part of this culture of creativity and entrepreneurship means that we do give the reins to our store teams and allow them to bring it to life. And there's risk in that. We don't always get it right. There's sometimes you see the display stuff. It's phenomenal artistry and it's unbelievably well done. There's some others where like, wish that was a little bit better. But it goes to the don't let good get in the way of great. If we say, well, you know what, we can't have some of these on the edge where we really need to improve it, well, we're going to kill the great and kill the brand and kill what really brings it to life. So we have to give that level of entrepreneurship and extend that to our teams. Another way we do that is with social media. Each one of our main cities all have a social media handle on Instagram that they're showing images of what's relevant to them in their communities. And they'll do, they do a great job. They show some of the phenomenal things. Then you get to some other stuff and you're like, wow, not really. Can you guys pull that one down? Because that doesn't really work. It is one of these things where it really is something that the customer connects with and connects with them and is relevant to them. So we allow our stores, and we celebrate that. We invite them to take part in this and be a part of showing Urban Outfitters to everyone. And they do this on a daily basis by interacting with all of our customers to say, well, we've got to really tightly control social media from a corporate headquarters and have a corporate policy around that seems very disingenuous, especially when we really expect our employees our store employees to have this level of ownership and this level of engagement with our brand. Also, speaking about entrepreneurship, I think one of the other things that sets us apart from a lot of competitors is that we really celebrate and almost expect our employees to have something else that they're passionate about, and they have their 9 to 5, which is usually 7 to 7 with Urban, and then you say you have your 5 to 9, and what else is it that you do afterwards? This is a band that played our Tallahassee opening called Beach Fossils. They're out of Brooklyn. The guy in the middle on the phone is Dustin, their lead singer, who is actually one of our store employees. And so it's great to be able to celebrate this and have them come back and have everyone else see this and be inspired by the fact that you've got all these people who are really, really talented and are able to go out and do these other great things, and that we love it and we encourage it, we talk about it, and we don't hide from the fact that, oh, people are going to leave and they're going to go do something else. We want them to work at Urban forever. No, we want them to be really, really excited about working at Urban. We want them to be excited about everything that they're doing in their lives and be able to help propel them in their careers as they go on. A couple other ones that I love is one of our folks in our store operations team, Stephen Lloydall and his wife Shauna, had been working at Urban for I think about 10 years, and they were on the side also working on creating their own line of mostly like tartan neckwear, which is an odd it's not a big market, but it was something they're really passionate about, and it's all handmade. And they launched it as their own brand. And now I'll walk into little boutique stores in San Francisco, and I'll see forage haberdashery and neckwear in the window, and I'll always go in and I'll talk to the store, and I'm like, hey, do you guys know Steven? Do you know Shauna? And have a really great conversation with them about it. And they're building this up. And again, it's one of these things that we're really excited about, that we have people that are that talented that will come in, they'll share their talents with us while they're in this point in time, and then they'll go on and do other great things afterwards. So all of these things, as we look at vision, as we look at the environment, as we look at people and culture, this all culminates in the Urban Outfitters experience that we deliver. And it is the experience we deliver. And we do talk about internally that if we're just competing with everyone else just on product, you can go buy a dress in a lot of different places. You can go buy a pair of jeans in a lot of different places. What is it that we do that's different? And it is really delivering this full lifestyle experience. So when you talk about things that we do in marketing and where we spend our money, this is our Rialto opening event that we did. And it's just part of our culture and part of what we love to give to our customer, and part of why they're so excited that we're now have another store in downtown LA and everything we're doing around it, because they're not going to find this from anyone else who's in our category right now. And it's also just, again, being authentic in the experience that you deliver, and being who you are, and not trying to be this, everyone's into healthy eating right now, so going and being about healthy eating, not really going to resonate. It's not about, for us, we've had all these opportunities to expand the format into, say, okay, you're 18 to 28. Well, we know that we're getting the 18-year-old girl who's in college, but we're also, her younger sister wants to be like her. So can we do Urban Outfitters Teen? It's come up, not doing it because, again, not who we are. We know that customer is going to come to us because of their older sister. We don't want to go be disingenuous to who our real core customer is by trying to expand our market. Similar, you're on the later edge of our core age range, starting to have kids. Urban Outfitters kids come up, could definitely do it, but not going to do that and distract from who we really are, and delivering this authentic experience to our customer, and trying to get into these other niches where you could definitely expand market share, you expand share of wallet, but you get away from being who you really are as a brand. Along with the experience, finding other people to work with for us who really share our values, and who are who also are big Urban Outfitters fans. We have Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad is a big Urban Outfitters fan. So he's out for Comic-Con. We invited him to come to the store and do an autograph session. He loved it. There's some great pictures. I wish I would have brought one of the other ones. Some great pictures of him just hamming it up with the staff in the store afterwards. And he was so excited to be there. He and his wife are like some of the most gracious people ever. But he was excited. Our customer was excited. They were plastered up against the walls, the windows of the store, trying to get in. And it just turns out to be this really great experience. That it's this passion that our customers have, our fans have, our employees have, and the environments that we provide. It all comes together and provides this great experience that our customer truly loves. So with that. I didn't talk much about digital, which is funny because I run e-commerce and marketing, and digital is my world. But I don't think the principles are that much different, which is why I didn't talk about it. I think a lot of times we get wrapped up in digital and mobile and all of these things, and that it's, well, what's your mobile strategy? It gets back to what's your brand strategy? Who are you as a brand, and what kind of experience are you trying to deliver? And then how do you leverage the different formats and the different tools to bring that to life? I think one of the things that with digital that we have an experience with, or an opportunity with, that we didn't before on the same scale, is letting people participate in the brand. We let them participate in the store. You also always get feedback on the stores. They're helping to generate the ideas when they're customers and when they're employees. But now with social media, with mobile, you have the opportunity to really let people participate in your brand in ways like they never have before. And we're working on that. We're doing that with things like UO on You, where we allow people can hashtag their photos. We put them up on the site, and you get these great photos of customers who are really passionate about Urban Outfitters and their street style looks. Do UO around you and the spaces that they create. And you find that these like sources of inspiration from your customers as well, and the dialogue that you can have with them is fantastic. So finally, before we get into the Q&A section, one other thing I wanted to share is that we've had this success with the Urban Outfitters brand, and another example of how we're now bringing this to life, and I think it culminates in all of these other aspects we talked about, is a new brand that we're launching called Without Walls, and we've just announced it. It's going to be coming to stores and online at the beginning of March, and this was really started. The story, I love it. We had a number of employees in our men's department who said, I'm athletic, I want to go out and look good while I'm working out, and I can't really find product that I love to do this. So they pitched the idea of creating a brand Without Walls, and we're now launching it. And it's another kind of counter to everything else out there. So like, well, okay, the athletic market's pretty saturated, yeah, but this is different. There's a much more of a fashion focus on it. It's also looking at product that you can't find anywhere else. What are the things that you really are unique, are different than anywhere else in the market? And also, a lot of the athletic brands are really focused on like hardcore athletes. Like the technology that goes into it is amazing. It's great, but there's a lot of people who are more of like the weekend athletes, and they just want to look good while they're getting out and doing things. And also, they want to be inspired, and they want to see what else they can do. What are the possibilities? So the tagline for this is "Get moving, have fun." And it really is a group of enthusiasts, and we've got a number of friends outside who are our ambassadors for the brand. And you'll see it come to life, but you're also not going to see a big marketing push for it. You're not going to see this huge PR push and a brand launch. And we've talked about doing that, and we had the opportunity for it, and said, you know what, that's just not us. We want to get it out there. We want to get customers to interact with it. We want to get their feedback. What it is right now is probably different than what it's going to be a year from now. And we're going to learn along the way as we do this. So let's take this opportunity to engage our customers and to give them a way to, another part of their lifestyle that we think we can connect with. We can do it in a very authentic way. And we're really excited about launching this. So would love for you to give your feedback when you see it. But you'll be seeing it coming out at the beginning of March. So that is it for my prepared remarks. And now I think we go into the Q&A, so thank you very much.